Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. This is the brand new Just Flight Fokker F28 and we're going to take it for a flight from Southend to Rotterdam. Now I'm sure you've seen plenty of videos of this bird by now, but I bet you haven't seen any videos in VR. There's no doubt about it that no stone has been left unturned when it comes to the fidelity of the texturing. It looks weathered, it looks beautiful. I've got to say, from all angles, got close and personal or really far away, it just looks so good, like really nice, as good as the 146 Professional, if not better, because that's one thing about Just Flight. I have noticed the in-house team just seem to be getting better and better as they're learning more about this sim. They're utilizing all of the functions and features like the PBR rendering, the dynamic lighting, and the fact they're using 8K textures. I don't really know of any add-on that's gone that berserk before. So that could even be a first. Let me know in the comments below if there is any other aircraft that you know of that uses 8K textures. Now the reason why I am using such high textures is because I have an RTX 4090 which has crazy amounts of VRAM. So if you do have a really, beefy card, then I would recommend it. It seems to be working really well at the moment. I'm getting 45 frames per second using incredibly high settings. This is a pay-where airport as well, Southend by Pilot Plus, an absolute beauty. So in the cockpit here, it feels, well, it's quite a shock actually, because I'm so used to flying general aviation aircraft. It's great to be back in an airliner, especially of this vintage. And it feels big, it feels brutish, and so many buttons and switches. It's quite scary actually looking at this. This is their professional line as well, so all of the pressurization systems, the electrical systems, everything you can imagine will work and is modeled on this aircraft. Now there's 4 variants, including the 1, 2, 3 and 4000 version of this aircraft, which also has obviously bespoke flight dynamics, which are very realistic and true to the real-life counterparts. It's funny, being in this bird, it reminds me of being in a museum somewhere like Duxford and having the privilege of being able to jump in the cockpit and just sit here with a high-resolution headset such as the Crystal. I could quite happily sit here for ages and admire all of the texture detailing, just all the marks and the grime. I know it sounds strange, but all of that just makes it more characterful and very impressive to just, admire really. Also, there is your ability to go into the back, and you can take this off completely to add even more performance. But this is the cabin, and I have to say, once again, it's modeled very well. And just, going down this aisle here, it's quite amazing. I feel like I'm getting a really close-up experience of what it might have felt like to be in this aircraft. Anyway, let's get back up to the cabin. And what I'm going to do is a cold and dark start, but I'm not going to show you all of the sort of procedures, simply because, well, 1, I don't want this video to be too long, but 2, the main point is that I'm still learning how to fly this thing. I'm by no means a competent airline pilot at the best of times. There are other videos out there that will showcase that, but what hopefully I'll show you today is my thoughts on it and how it runs and feels in VR. Talking of all that kind of stuff, let's just go quickly to the EFB. You may have seen this before. It's very similar to the 146 Professional. I actually think Just Flight's EFBs are the best in the business, really. And you have all of the features here, like, in fact, we'll open the door. That's a good idea. We'll take the chocks off. Listen to those sounds. That's another thing about this aircraft. The custom sounds on this are amazing. In fact, Just Flight did release a video which showcased how they went about capturing all of those custom sounds. And it definitely is worth a watch. Right, anyway, that's enough gawping for now. We need to get this aircraft fired up. And this is one of the things that I really do love about how Just Flight have made it actually quite, I wouldn't say easy, but accessible. Even for someone like me who's not an airline captain at all, is the checklist system, which is very well done. Because it's the interactive Asobo checklist, which means everything will be highlighted. So first of all, we need to check that batteries 1 and 2 are within limits there, which, yeah, we're getting about 25 volts there, so that looks good. And now we're going to switch the batteries on. Listen to this sound here. Amazing. That's going to be a bit of a feature of this video, okay? Is the sounds. And when it gets to the engine sounds, they're going to blow you away, folks. Let me tell you. But anyway. Now we can do the APU fire test if we want to, which is down here. And just knowing that all of these sounds are from the real aircraft, and you just know that they've been recorded because you've seen, if you've seen the video of how they've done it, it just makes this quite an incredible experience, because there's nowhere in the world you'd be able to experience this. Also guys, I'll just show you that the VR click spots also work really, really well, which is nice to see. So anyway, let's get the APU on. So we've got the generator off, APU main on. Let's listen to the sound here as we fire it up from the outside. Even that sounds good. That just gives you an idea of what treat is going to await us once we get on that runway and listen to those engines. Right, after starting the APU, the Gen 3 switch can now be switched to the on position. Like so. And master radios can be switched on. I think I've already done that actually. Oh no, I haven't. It's alright. I have now though. So anyway, we're not going to set the nav because we've got our flight plan dialed in the GNS 530, which I've retrofitted. And by the way, that can be accessed through the EFB, which has a whole host of features like pilot call out, state saving. You can take the interior cabin off like I've mentioned. You've got cabin ambient announcements. Rudder axis steering, that's actually really useful to have on because of course otherwise you'd have to use the tiller system, but that's now linked to the rudder pedals. Very, very cool, very, very Just Flight, I have to say. So again, we make sure that all the things we need to be checking off is all set. So yeah, we don't have to worry about that. Fire control guards, that's these guys here. Right, this is the thing about Just Flight. They could have used one sound, okay, just the one sound for each of these, what they're called, fire control guards. But they didn't. Each one has their own sound. Listen to this again. That is impressive, and that's the kind of thing that I notice. Not many people, in fact probably no one's noticed that, but the fact that they're, you know, each and every single sound in the cockpit, every single button, sorry, has its own sound. Anyway folks, I'm going to continue with this checklist because as I say, you get the idea, because I might be a while yet because I'm still learning this. I'll see you just before we get to engine start, because I'm definitely going to showcase the engine. The sounds on this are absolutely sublime, and I'll see you again for you in a few moments time. Welcome aboard the F28 Fokker, and you may notice there's some music being played because we have the ability to serenade our guests using this control panel here. Ha! That's amazing, I love it. But anyway, we'll switch it off for now, but just had to show you that. So what we're going to do just before takeoff is I'm just going to show you the animations of all of the cargo door and the passenger door, which looks again absolutely superb. That can be accessed again via the EFB. So we'll just shut all these now and I'll show you them in action. Look at that. And those sounds are just superb. Can you hear that? There's sounds in the back of the cabin there. That's fantastic. I love that. Right, rudder pedals, seats and harnesses are secure. Electrical power and bleed air. I believe that's okay. Hopefully, anyway. Brake pressure. In fact, that needs to be on. Electrical pump. Parking brake is on. That's down there. Fuel quantity, that's fine. Pressurization, actually, let's just, and again, we can zoom in if we want to. Yeah, that's set to 18. Going to go to 18,000 feet today. Thrust index. Honestly, guys, I'm not sure what that means, so I'm going to just leave that. Nav aids, that's all good because we're using GPS today. Ship papers are all good. Takeoff data, yeah, we're all good there. Gust lock, that's important. That's down here. Get this out of the way. Remove that. Oh, by the way, just look at the seats and how well they're modelled. Just look at this. Oh, sorry, guys. And you can even move them back and forward. That's so good. And with the 8K textures, I can see everything. I can even see the heat haze as well from the APU down there. It's epic, isn't it? It really is epic. We are now clear for start. So, anti-collision lights, they are already on. Throttle levers on the idle position, as is the HP valves. Boost pumps, they need to be on. Which are these guys here? I've already put them on before, so that's all good. Okay, folks, I think it's time to start the engine. We'll start with number 2. If you're not sure what I'm looking at, there you are. Look, it's a nice close-up view there. Starting number 2 first. Listen to that, guys. My word, does that sound fantastic. I love as well that if you're directly behind the engines, you can hear the wind and the heat. Being in VR, it feels like I really should not be here right now. It's a dangerous place to be. Right then, so let's clean up everything else here. Pitot heat is now on. Anything with a basically bright light needs to be looked at. That's looking quite good actually now. I'm really super excited to start our flight here. So I'm going to get pushback clearance now. Actually, I'm not sure we can get it here. That might be a bit of a problem. I was kind of hoping we... Actually, no, it's not a problem because the Just Flight F28 has its own pushback feature. Look at this. I've just remembered this is the perfect opportunity to showcase it. So once that's connected, we'll just disconnect the parking brake. And we can use these arrows here and even adjust the speed to do our pushback. That is a fantastic feature. There we are, we're back connected. So here we go, we'll do our pushback. That's brilliant. It's little things like that that really make a simmer's life so much easier, I tell you that. Never mind your modern day 737, you want to be flying in a Fokker F28. That's proper flying. Right, we'll just disconnect that. That's plenty. Thank you very much. And I think, guys... Oh, hang on. Disconnect. There we go. Let's go back then. I think we're about ready to taxi in this beautiful airliner. We'll just put our taxi light on. Here we go, folks. We're now going to start our taxi. Try not to run over the ground crew. Wowzers, the sounds in this are amazing. You know, I'm going to say right now that of all the developers out there, including the top ones like PMDG and A2A, I do feel that Just Flight has the best sound engineer team I've ever come across. I mean, even the X-Plane days with like the Vulcan, I was impressed then, but they've really upped their game. And you know, if I think to myself there is a Vulcan coming for MSFS with the same team that's doing these classic airliners, that makes me very excited indeed. Oh yes. Question is this going to be one of those aircraft like the 146 that's going to get under my skin? I guess we'll find out in a moment when we take off. So, I really don't know much about the rudimentary autopilot system, to be honest. However, we're going to give it a go and see how we get on. We're just going to be cleared right up to 18,000 feet for this one. And flaps set, I think we'll set them to, let's have a look here, at 6 degrees, so we'll go for 11 degrees. Okay, so we've now got our taxi checklist. Flight instruments have been checked, trim is set, collision tank indication, well, I'm not actually quite sure what that is, so I'm going to leave that. Flaps are at 11 degrees, crew briefing is complete. I'm now going to line up, check the brake temperature, we'll leave the APU on, lift dump arm, flight controls checked, feeling good. Hydraulic pressure, by the way, that's all modelled as well. See here, checking the flight controls. Oh, she's such a beauty, isn't she? Just look at her. We'll line up, and there should be another checklist item at the bottom to say, hope for the best and pray to the aviation gods, because that's what we're going to do right now. That will do nicely. And this is the bit we've all been waiting for, the takeoff. So excited about this, guys, because even just listening to those engines spooling up with the speaker system in the Pimax Crystal, this is going to be one hell of an experience. Are you ready? Here we go. Loving the announcements there.
Power set.
Oh wow! Oh my word, that is one hell of a sound. Let's just stay outside, sod it. We'll miss the announcements, but listen to that! Wow! That is an experience, folks. Let me tell you now, that is an experience.
Set climb power.
Okay, roger. So I'm just going to hand fly her for a bit, because I want to see how she feels. Very, very fluid and smooth in the air. You can really tell the Just Flight team have done their homework when it comes to the flight model here. Alright, let's get back on course. I think the best way I can describe this experience right now is it's an attack on your senses with those sounds together with all the gauges and the high fidelity of this model. It's, yeah, you've got to know what you're doing. And quite honestly, I don't on this flight, but I'm learning fast, that's for sure. Now with the EFB, we can also type in our top of descent calculator. You can add your charts as well. You can also have notes. I have used this before where you can use sim brief, which is very handy actually. I do like that. I like how you've got a keyboard in VR as well. But we're just going to put this on the map view here, which I must say is a little bit tiny, but I don't have any issues reading that in the Pimax Crystal, of course, but in other headsets you might struggle to read that. I think what we'll do is we'll get the autopilot engaged, we'll climb in IAS mode. Right, 10,000 feet, take the landing lights off now, and we will do our after takeoff checklist. Landing gear is up, flaps are up, lift dumpers are in. Where are they? Oh, okay, that's fine. Oh, I see. Right, okay. I think that should be in the arm position. I'm not quite sure. RPM, TGT, TTC. Let's check those. In fact, to be honest, we need to just back off there on the engine. RPMs. We are climbing at 90% thrust at the moment. Landing gear, flare out lights, retract. That's all these here. Okay. Anti-ice, we definitely need that on. In fact, yeah, we'll put that to auto. You know, this cockpit is so beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. Pressurization, that's looking good. So we're only climbing to 18,000 feet. Seatbelt sign, well, we'll keep that on for now. And that is it. That's our after takeoff checklist complete. But for now, I'll leave you with some beautiful views as we climb to 18,000 feet, as we skirt just the east coast of the UK, bound for Rotterdam. In the Pimax Crystal. What a treat. Oh guys, I know I keep saying this and I must be sounding like a broken record, but it's crazy to think that 1 minute I can be in a general aviation aircraft and I can be in, say, the DC Designs Phantom doing my own air display at Fairford, and then the next minute I'm in a classic study level airliner on my way to Rotterdam in this beauty. In fact, it's quite apt that the registration for this aircraft is F Beaut. And she is a beaut. Just a wonderful work of art from the Just Flight team once again. You know, on this channel I really only show the high fidelity aircraft. That's why you don't really see any add-ons that I moan about, because if it's crap, well, it won't be on the channel. And this is the absolute top tier elite add-ons like the Just Flight 146 and now the Fokker F28, the Just Flight Turbo Arrows as well, the oh god, so many of them, A2A Comanche, obviously, the Blackbird Simulations C310. They're all up there as the best in their field. And this is right up there, a top tier product. If you want yourself some classic airliner action, this is the only place to be, really. This and the 146. It's just a wonderful, wonderful model. And you find yourself just staring at everything, all the details. And you can read everything, it's amazing. Everything that I can see works, apart from, if I want to be really picky, the fuses, which kind of look like they do work because they're so well modelled, like all 3D, but they don't actually pop out. But you know what? I kind of forgive them for that, for everything else, because pretty much everything else is clickable and works. We'll go in the back in a moment, guys. We're now at 18,000 feet. In fact, we need to slow down a bit here. There's no auto throttle on this bird. And we're looking good, folks. We're looking very good. So yeah, now's the time. Look at that, another airliner. That's actually FS traffic, by the way. That's where you can see the contrails, even from the ground, which I do like about this add-on. We'll take the fasten seatbelt signs off. Let's see if the windows wiper work. Yeah, they work. And sorry guys, I'm just playing now with lots and lots of switches, but we'll go into the cabin and have a look. See if this door opens, which it does, of course. And we'll play some music as well. This is when we meet and greet the passengers. Hello there guys, you're in safe hands today with VRFSG Airways. I've no idea what I'm doing, but so far we seem to be doing okay. Look at that for a view there. Do these go down? No, actually we don't get the window shades going down, but that's okay. This does have wing flex, by the way. That's another feature of many. But that's the view you want right out there. That massive wing. And in VR, you really get a sense of that huge scale. And I can actually see, you might not be able to pick this up on the recording, but a little bit of wing flex there as we're bobbing through the air. You can just see ever so tiny the edges of the wings moving. I have to say the cabin is very well modelled, and it's not really hitting frames too hard for me, and that is with 8K textures as well. Listen to that. The wind and everything. In fact, it sounds different from here than in the cabin. And you really notice all those things with a really good set of speakers on your ears. Well folks, I'm going to continue with this flight, and I will see you very shortly for our descent into Rotterdam. In fact, I need to get the ILS frequency, so I'll get all that sorted out and I'll see you on approach. So the APU is off. We've dialed in 1190, which is the ILS frequency for runway 24 at Rotterdam. Everything is looking pretty good at the moment. I thought what we could do now, before we start descending, is just show you a bit of the night lighting. So let's have a look at this. Oh wow, look at that for a scene there. Let's just have a look at that for a moment. Oh, that is gorgeous. Right, let's now turn the lights down even more. Wowzers, that looks incredible, doesn't it? With full dynamic lighting as well. And there is Rotterdam down there. I can already see it. Thanks to the super sharp visuals of the Crystal. We'll just go outside. Looking so good. I am loving this as much as the 146, and she's a little less of a handful having 2 engines rather than 4. You know, it's funny because I was watching the Planes TV, which is a YouTube channel covering the departures at Fairford Air Show, and funny enough there was a 146 that took off, and the sound of that 146, it really shocked me because it sounded just like the Just Flight version. The autopilot, by the way, I must say, is performing really well here. This is definitely custom coded and not the Asobo variant, which can be very dodgy at the best of times. This is feeling very smooth. We are a little bit fast still. Slowing down. Yeah, this is a really nice, smooth autopilot system. I think we'll now engage the APU once again. Just to say, if you're wondering if there's any jankiness in the image, it's because I'm using the Pimax eye tracking, the dynamic phase rendering, which is really helping out with an aircraft like this. Whilst recording, I'm still getting about, well, just shy of 50 frames per second. It feels very smooth indeed, I have to say. But it does really help having that eye tracking facility when running at such a high resolution. I'm running 3,500 by 4,142. So, and that's in TAA mode as well, which means those 8K textures are looking amazing. I can even see the wiring, like the loom, beneath the panel there. You see that, guys? Some sort of wiring or insulation. You see everything. That's so incredibly detailed. It looks like we've captured the glide slope, I think. Let's see what she does here. Just managing speed, bringing the flaps down. And don't forget the landing lights, you idiots. So much to think about here. Don't get too slow either. Oh, guys, this is absolutely fantastic. You know, this is making me into a bit of an airline pilot here. Just Flight, you are converting me to these classic airliners, I must say. Tracking the glide slope really well. Leave your hands off, apart from just making sure the speed is where it should be. Let's have a quick look outside. All the way in. What a sight that is. And sound. Right then, autopilot is off. Last stage of flaps. Here we go. I've forgotten Rotterdam is a small airport. Yeah, there's lots of things going off in the cockpit here, but
Flux 42.
oh, this is a bit dodgy.
50, 40,
Concentration.
20, 10.
We're down. We are down. Slowing down now. Spoilers are out. Well, you know, I think Just Flight have done it again. They have done it again with this. Using every bit of the runway. We have arrived. We have arrived, and all I can hear is the music playing in the background. So folks, that is my first look really at the Fokker F28 by Just Flight. It is their new professional series of study level classic airliners, and I have to say it's an absolute winner. This hobby of ours, guys, it's such a special time right now for flight simulation. As I've got that cheesy music playing in the background, so funny. We'll just park here. Let me know in the comments below, have you picked up the Fokker F28? Are you thinking about it? I've got to say, in VR it works a treat. Just Flight are one of very few developers that really make sure that their aircraft are VR ready. And this does not disappoint. Thank you so much for watching, as always. I truly appreciate it. Please feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care and bye for now. And already I'm thinking about where to fly next. Because yes, this has got under my skin, just like the 146 did. Take care. Oh, listen to that. Perfection. Absolute perfection.